Hello and welcome to this Python tutorial. So now let's move on to the next step of the cleaning process, which is stemming. So as a reminder, stemming is about taking the root of the words. So as an example, I give you the word love. Well, that's actually the first review. If we look at the first review, well, you have this loved word here, which is the past tense of the love verb, and the stemming process consists of keeping only the root of the word, that is actually love, because whether we have love, loved, or loving, or will love in a review, well, that gives the same hints whether the review is positive or negative. So we don't need this word conjugated in the past or in the future or in the present. We just need the root of this word, and that's what stemming is about, because if we keep all the different versions of a same word that means the same thing, well, the problem is that in the end, in our sparse matrix, we will have tons of words and therefore huge sparsity, and therefore our algorithm will have trouble to run because we will simply have too many columns. Because in the end, in the sparse matrix, each word will have its own column. So that's why we are doing some simplification here, and this simplification is relevant because the different versions corresponding to the same root, love here, will give to the algorithm the same hint whether the review is positive or negative. So let's proceed with the stemming. That's very important. And let's keep in mind that it's done in order to avoid too much sparsity. And if you're not very comfortable with this sparsity concept, don't hesitate to ask questions in the Q&A. I'll reply very quickly. Okay, so let's apply stemming to our review here. So what we'll do is directly apply stemming to the word here in this for loop, because when we apply the stemming, we actually apply it on one single word and not on a whole list, which is what is our review right now. So what we'll do is we'll include this stem function that will proceed to the stemming and only keep the root of each of the words of our review. And in order to use this stem function, we need to import a class, and then we will create an object of this class from which we will use the stem function on each of our words of our review. So let's do it. Let's start by importing the class. So this class is taken from nltk.stem, then dot again, then porter. So that's the library part from which we import the class, which is the porter stemmer class. So right now we'll add import capital P porter, all right, and then capital S for stemmer, right, import porter stemmer. So that's the class, and now what we need to do is to create an object of this class, and since we'll use the method from this object in this for loop here, well, we need to create this object before this for loop. That is, we will create it right here. So let's call this object PS for porter stemmer. And as usual, to create an object of this class, we need to call the class itself here. So porter stemmer, and let's not forget the parenthesis, and that creates an object of this class. All right, and now that we have our object created, well, we will use this object and the stem method here to apply stemming to each of the words of the review. And to do this, we need to take our object here, which is called PS, then dot, and then that's where we use the stem method, which is right here. So stem, pressing enter, and we need to apply this stem method from our PS object to all the words of our review that are browsed by this for loop right here. All right, so that's actually done. And in order for me to show that to you is to reset everything, because if I execute that again, well, what happened is that since review is now this list of 3 words here, without the stop words like this that we just removed, well, the for loop is going to go through these 3 words here. So what would be better is that, we reset everything to see what this new review becomes after we put all the letters of the different words in the review in lower cases. So Right now I'm going to restart the kernel because that resets everything. So restart kernel. Are you sure you want to restart the kernel? Yes. Connecting to a new kernel. All right, so now everything is reset. And so what we'll do is take everything from here to here to, import the libraries, the dataset, and doing the first steps of the cleaning process. So right now, if I have a look at the review, well, of course, it's wow, loved displays because we haven't made the split yet. We haven't removed the irrelevant words yet. So right now, that is what the review is. And so now let's select these 3 lines to see what the stemming is doing on this first review here. All right, so let's guess what's going to happen. Well, first it will split this review into different words. Then thanks to this for loop, it will go through all the different words of this list that became a list thanks to the split. Then it will check if each of the different words are in the stop words English list of irrelevant English words. If that's the case, it will remove it thanks to this if not. And besides removing it, for each of the word browsed by this for loop here, it will stem the word, that is, only keep the root of the word. So clearly, loved will become love, because of course the root of loved is love. Then what about place? Well, place cannot really be more simplified. The root of place is place, and wow, that's the same. So what will only happen is that this will be removed because it's a stop word, and loved will be replaced by love. So let's check it out. Let's select these 3 lines here and press Command and Control plus Enter to execute. Here we go, and there it is. Wow, love, that replaced the loved word we had before, and of course place is the same. So now our review became a list of 3 words: wow, love, which is the root of loved, and place. So much more simplification, which is great for our sparse matrix we'll create in the end. Right now we are on a good path to reduce the future sparsity that will occur through the creation of our bag of words model. Alright, so that's done for the stemming step, and now we are almost done with cleaning the text here. What we only have to do left is to reverse the transformation of this list here back into the written review itself, that is back into a string. That will therefore be a string of 3 words: wow, love, and place. And that will be our cleaned and simplified review. Alright, so we'll do that in the next tutorial, and until then, enjoy.